Okay. Let me explain something because I've got this question here on the live stream from Chase. Chase says, Mark, when are they going to blow it up, the team, and trade Dak for Shedeur? So let me explain something. There is a thing called a no trade clause. Okay? A no trade clause. And for those out there who don't understand what that means is no, nada, nil, not happening. Clause, meaning added to a contract. No, added to contract, trade clause. When you say no, that means not. Trade, boom. You put those two things together, that means you cannot trade a player because of the clause that's in his contract. Unless the quarterback waives, which means say goodbye to that clause as well. So when you say, when are they going to blow it up, trade Dak for Shedeur Sanders, that means you've got to trade up in the draft with somebody who has the number one pick. They can't do that. What's funny to me is I'm sitting here with the person who said the Eagles had more rushing TDs today in the championship game than the Cowboys had rushing TDs the whole season. Think about that for a second. For those out there that are right now saying Jalen Hurts is better than Dak because he's going to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to dispute that he's on a team that's going to the Super Bowl. But if you got 7 touchdowns on the ground, you got 7 touchdowns on the ground in one game, and the Dallas Cowboys through 17 games could only get 6, that says that you cannot run the football. Now, I'd like to put this out here because the Cowboys constantly told us that we couldn't afford Derrick Henry, who was $8 million. Okay? $8 million. Which I hear what they're saying, but you have to see the trend now is when we swung through and everybody said, you don't need a good running back. Well, it swung back. And if you didn't have Saquon Barkley, because I literally had somebody say, don't say Dak didn't have a running game because he had Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, the last year he was here when he was the lead back, got about the same amount of yards as Rico, but went from like 5.4 yards a carry to 4 yards a carry. That's not an elite running game, Joe. It's not an elite running game. And he was scared to run between the tackles. He's an outside runner. But if you do not see that Saquon is the offense for the Eagles and don't understand the importance of a running game, because I'm looking right now, Buffalo down 21-16, and on first down, they're running the football and picking up 5-6 yards. If you do not see that second down and 4 and not being one-dimensional where the team is worried, the defense is worrying, they might be able to run for the first down, makes a difference, then I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. When you watch the Eagles offense with Saquon, who rushes for a 70-yard touchdown run, and then they're able to go ahead and get key first downs with Dallas Goedert, when they start covering Dallas Goedert, then they go to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And again, look at this. Right now, Buffalo's getting back in here. They've literally just had about a 25-yard run. That's not Josh Allen. 33 yards. That right there opens up everything, because now Kansas City's defense, They got to worry about the running game because the last 2 plays, they done picked up 38 yards on the ground. So that means something called play action, where you're faking the run. The linebackers, they see that it looks like you're handing it off. They get sucked in there. And then you got single coverage on your receivers. And if you have more than one receiver, look at that. Boom. Shakalaka. They just rushed for 8 yards again. Just like that. 3 plays. 3 plays, they've rushed for 46 yards. 3 plays. People, we ain't been able to do that in the playoffs. You want to know how bad it is? The last 3 plays, Buffalo has just rushed for like 43 yards. In the playoff losses that we've had, we have not rushed for over 65 in any of the games for the whole game. And usually that's about 20, 25 yards of Dak running. You want to know why we don't win the playoffs? Because we do things like getting Jonathan Mingo, who got 5 receptions for 46 yards, and you used a 4th-round draft pick. We turned around and we traded a 4th-round pick that could have been a running back this past year for Trey Lance, who threw for 233 yards and an interception. Sorry, people. You can blame, you can continue to say Dak. You got no running game. You don't have a tight end because I can look over here and I can see how Kelsey gets open. It seems like all the damn time. He's their best receiver at tight end. Ain't got a tight end that's worth shit. Ain't got a running game, and you got one freaking receiver. You got Jonathan Mingos. You got Jalen Tolberts. You got Jonathan Brooks. Guys that should be your 4th wide receiver, not your 2nd. Dak, you know why Dak turn it over in playoffs, bro? When you are one-dimensional and the only thing you have is the quarterback trying to throw to receivers that aren't getting any separation. If you have to throw in tight coverage, your odds go up of having interceptions, bro. Jalen Hurts didn't throw interceptions today because they weren't relying on his arm. You weren't one-dimensional. You just weren't. Gil, I hope that Jake Ferguson will be back, but he went way downhill this past year, man. He dropped off a cliff. And we need a tight end. Tight end, I can literally say, without George Kittle, we beat San Francisco. If George Kittle does not make that critical catch where Diggs should have actually intercepted it or knocked him the hell out, they don't win that game. They don't win that game. He doesn't have that tight end. They don't win that game. And we don't have that. Troy Aikman had Jay Novacek as a security blanket. You've got to have weapons. And I dare say, you got to have an offensive line because these guys are running like this because they're able to control guys like Chris Jones. Look at that. Another run. Another 10-yard run. So you can say, well, Josh Allen, is doing it up. Josh Allen is great. Bro, they've rushed for 53 yards plus on this drive alone. In fact, the running game makes the offense go. And look at another 7-yard run. This whole drive has been run, run, run. Again, that wasn't Josh Allen on that run. Here it is, 2nd and goal, ball on the 3. And what do? They run up the middle, and it's short. Third down and goal. Nope, short. Fourth and goal. Fourth and goal. Ball on the 1. Oh, is it a touchdown? And they ran it in. Bro, as you're going through and you're talking about, oh man, Josh Allen is great. Bro, Buffalo has 147, no, it's not caught up, has 147 yards passing, and they got 125 yards running the football. That whole drive was running the damn football. Running the football. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Touchdown. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Forgive me. That drive did have one pass for 7 yards. One pass for 7 yards. So you started out on the 20-yard line. They started out on the 20-yard line and take it all the way to the end zone, and they had one pass for 7 freaking yards. People, instead of getting a running back, instead of getting Derrick Henry, we end up going out and we get Trey Lance. Instead of taking that pick and drafting a running back, we got Trey Lance. Stupid.